Limes article, of all things, to back me up, August 23. Californians, Massachusetts natives have moved to New Hampshire. New Yorkers have moved to North Carolina and Virginia, and, of course, have continued moving to Florida. Over the last few decades, residents of many traditionally liberal states have moved to states that were once more conservative. And this pattern has played an important role in helping the Democratic Party win the last 2 presidential elections and 4 of the last 6. The growth of the Latino population and social liberalism of the millennial generation may receive more attention. But the growing diaspora of the blue state America matters as well. I think matters more. It has helped offset the fact that many of the nation's fastest growing states are traditionally Republican. You can think of it as a kind of race. Population growth in these Republican states is reducing the share of the Electoral College held by traditionally Democratic states. But Democratic migration has been fast enough so far to allow the party to overcome the fact that the Northeast and industrial Midwest contain a smaller portion of the country's population than they once did. The migration helped Obama win Colorado, Florida, and Virginia in both 2008 and 2012. In 2014, the influx of blue state natives gives Democrats a better chance to win Senate seats in Colorado and Georgia and North Carolina, among other places. Again, a point I've been trying to make over the years. Stop the pandering based on ethnicity or these other issues. Promote an agenda, a solid, principled, traditional conservative agenda. Attach it to modern circumstances, to current circumstances. The spread of people born in New York State offers a particularly telling example. Of the 20 million Americans alive today who were born in New York, nearly 1 in 6 now live in the South. That would have been almost unthinkable 50 years ago, where the share was 1 in 25. Nearly 1 in 6 of those who were born in New York now live in the South. And I'll go further than these people. Most of them are retiring. Most of these people have government pensions or other pensions, and it goes further in the South, in the lower tax states. But they still vote Democrat, 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 Democrat. As part of a recent analysis of migration patterns over the last century based on census data, we created an index to see how these patterns might be altering the electorate. We started by defining each state as red, blue, or purple, depending on whether it voted for only one party or both in the 4 presidential elections since 2000. The method gave us 10 purple, 18 blue, and 22 red states. We then looked at what had happened since 2000 among the natives of each kind of state. The first thing we noticed was a major blue to red shift. Since 2000, the blue-born population in red states has grown by almost a quarter to 11.5 million, or 12% of the state's total population. So the blue states are depopulating and people are migrating to the red states, particularly in the South. The changes in purple North Carolina, where the blue-born population is up to an astounding 41% since 2000, and Georgia, 30%, are fairly well known. But not as well known is the migration of blue staters to South Carolina, 39%, Utah, 34%, and Idaho, 30%. The Southeast and Interior West have become some of the most popular new destinations for American movers. They tend to be less expensive places to live than the Northeast and much of the West Coast. So people are moving from both the East and West Coasts into these other states, into the red states, the low-tax states, the job-creating states, and voting Democrat. Now, these changes aren't happening simply because the national population has grown over the same period. In fact, the red-born population in blue states shrank to 7.3 million from 8.4 million between 2000 and 2012. Some of this decline stems from the fact that California has become a less popular destination for people from all over the country, in part because of high housing costs. Well, more than that, got a bunch of knucklehead kooks running the government. Illinois and Michigan, states that used to draw migrants seeking economic opportunity, have also become less attractive. Not all blue state migrants are liberal, and people's political views can change over time. But enough of the migrants have the views of their home states to have made a difference. It's no accident that the places in once red states where migrants have tended to settle, like the Virginia suburbs of Washington, a research triangle of North Carolina, and the Denver metro area are the places that have allowed Democrats to overcome huge deficits elsewhere in those states. And many of these migrants are northeastern Democrats. They're a plague. They're a plague. They escape what they've done to their own states only to do them to the new states that they're in. Colorado has gained twice as many migrants from blue states as from red since 2000, and blue state expats now make up 12% of the population. That's why we lose Colorado. In North Carolina, blue migration is occurring 4 times as quickly as migration from red states. That's why it's becoming increasingly difficult to win North Carolina. On the flip side, the movement of blue staters into Texas, Utah, and Idaho hasn't helped Democrats as much, in part because many of the migrants are more conservative voters, such as whites from Southern California. Even with the growing blue diaspora, the Democrats face an uphill battle in holding on to the Senate this year, and they go on. Well, I think, and I want to be wrong, please, I'm not making a prediction. I'm just looking, and the hard truth is, I think this is going to be closer than some have said. I've heard some hosts over the week say it's going to be a landslide. I hope they're right. I hope they're right. I think they're wrong. I hope they're right. So these locusts are locusts. These are people who have destroyed their own states, moving in the red states and destroying the red states. And there's not enough red voters in these blue states to change that electoral college vote or those Senate votes. But there's enough of these people leaving these big industrial and commercial states, California, New York, Illinois, and so forth, Michigan, to make a big difference in smaller states. And that is the main reason we are losing. And so the pandering, the amnesty, the Republicans, they've developed an entire strategy addressing the wrong issue. An entire strategy addressing the wrong issue that will kill the Republican Party faster than anything else. Amnesty. Whereas they should be going for Reagan Democrats, shoring up the base, and promoting a liberty, national security, life agenda.